Hi guys, and welcome back to the Mission Empowered podcast with me, your host Emily. Now you may notice something different here, is that actually I'm now on video as well. Yes, and I don't want to say it's not by choice, because obviously it's my choice, I decided to do it, but you know that feeling of rather being like you're being hoofed over the cliff rather than jumping off the cliff, like that's the position I'm in, is that I've had so many people say to me, and you need to get this recorded, you need to get some of the things that you say on the podcast, like on Instagram. I'm like, I can't do that because they literally come natural to me on the podcast. So if you're listening, nothing's really going to change. You're still going to get me. If you're watching, hey, I'm really going to try and look at the camera as much as I can. But what you will notice, and I have just done a little test run, guys, and for the first 5 minutes, I was like, shit, I need to start that again, because I literally was like talking to the camera, looking over here, because that's normally what I do on the podcast. So I'm going to try and keep eyes on the camera as much as possible. Okay, so I really feel like as well, with this being my first video podcast, I should have put some makeup on. I should have, washed my hair quicker than... When did I last wash my hair? That's a problem, isn't it? Like Sunday or something? Where are we? Wednesday? Not that bad. So yeah, okay, let's get into it. So today's episode is all about genetics. Now, I'm not going to go into a sciency podcast. It's more about being aware of genetics and the impact that they have on our physique, on our results, on our behavior, but also increasing your awareness of if that is affecting us, it's obviously affecting other people and who we're comparing ourselves to and who we're looking up to. That's the biggie that I want to get across in this episode. So maybe I should have titled it something different, but hey ho, here we are. Because I think as a society, and speaking to so many women all of the time, I am very aware that a lot of people, look up to people on Instagram because they want to look like them. They will sign up to someone's program because they want to look like them. They will listen to what their friends are doing, what their family's doing, what their colleagues are doing, because they want the same results as them. Now, what we've got to be aware of, girls, is that yes, we can take inspiration. So if you follow someone on Instagram and they, post videos of them training hard, eating well, and they look like they've got like an athletic physique, and you want to, look similar to that, like that's fine. Take inspiration, but please do not pin all your hopes and dreams on that. If you follow what they're doing, you're going to look like that as well, because that ain't true. Okay. And I think being in the industry that I'm in, and being in this industry for as long as I've been in it, I am fully aware that that doesn't work out. Absolutely doesn't work out. And I've been in this industry since I was 15, since I started cleaning the toilets at the gym. And there were so many girls at that gym that I would see doing the cardio on the bike, doing the cross trainer for like hours. And, back then I had a bit of a distorted vision of what I wanted to look like. I just wanted to be small, skinny. I was never petite, ever. I was never this skinny. I'm still not now. I'm totally okay with that. But then, it's what I wanted, so I just copied them. I would go to the gym and I'd be like half an hour on the bike, 40 minutes on the cross trainer, then I'd try and run. Oh my God, poor me. Go on the Stairmaster, all that, and that would be like my gym session. And I still never looked like them. I was influenced by people doing fat burners in the gym, taking supplements, and I would take them supplements and it wouldn't work and I wouldn't look like them. And I don't think, part of it obviously was you don't know what these people are doing outside of their training. You don't know what these people are doing, although they're putting on Instagram, this is what I eat in a day. You don't know that. People lie. I think people tend to lie more than they tell the truth, especially on bloody Instagram, which is why I try and keep my Instagram, my realness, for those of you that are watching on video, no makeup, unwashed hair, as real as possible, because it's just so important to do that. And that is why I will always try and be honest, authentic, and real, because we don't know what people are doing. Anyway, back to what I was saying, is that I was trying to imitate what they were doing so I would look like them. But now I realise that would never, ever, ever, even if I did exactly the same as them, probably ate exactly the same as them, my genetics are so different from their genetics, it was never going to end up us looking the same. And that is something we've so got to get our heads round, is that when we start out on a fitness journey, when we start out on, eating better, or if someone's doing a healthy diet and you're taking inspo from that, or you're following that the same as them, that's fine if it's making you feel better and it's making you, lose weight, if that's your mission. But you've got to remember, this is your journey. This is your goals. Like, it's your body, it's your genetics. Like, it's gonna look different for you. And that in itself is such a powerful thing to remember, that it's your journey, it's your plan. It's like, and even if it's you're mimicking this exact same thing as what Sally's done, and Sally's got great results in 6 weeks, that doesn't mean in 6 weeks you're going to get them exact same results. Because when we look at genetics, things that affect genetics, our DNA, it's everything. It's our metabolism, it's the rate that your body grows muscle, it's the rate that your body holds on to muscle, it's how effective your body is at managing insulin, at breaking down food, at breaking down sugar, at storing sugar. All of these things, storing fat, burning fat, using fat as your main source of energy. We're not all the same. We are all different, and we all have different rates of how we function. And that is what I wanted this episode to be like. This episode may be the shortest episode that I've ever done, possibly because I've got a bit of stage fright, I'm on camera, but also because the point is so short, and it's that genetics will affect everything. Genetics will affect your ability, that if you start out on a training program with a coach, following a program on an app or something, the rate that you build muscle genetically might be quite slow. Therefore, you've got to then just be consistent and know that the actions that you are taking will pay off, but maybe not in the timeline that you were expecting. The same when it comes to fat loss, is that you genetically might have a bit of a slower metabolism. Your body might hold on to fat longer than your mate. And so if you go and do it on this diet together, don't get disheartened that they are losing weight losing fat at a more rapid pace than you are, because again, it could be down to genetics. This is definitely something to take into account. And as a coach who has worked with hundreds of women and seen women come in and absolutely consistently drop fat every week, put on muscle at a pace much quicker than I ever would, and I train hard, and then I've seen women that it takes twice as long, and they're doing the same and they're putting the effort in. And girls, I know it can be fucking disheartening, it can be infuriating, but that's life. I'm sorry if you thought I was going to give some golden nugget then, but it is life. And I think the reason I'm so what's the word, like, at peace with that, is because I am that. I have never been the skinny one. I don't like using the word skinny, but you know what I mean. Like, when you're in school, primary school, junior school, and your mates who were like little rakes, like, that was never me. Always had my dad's legs, got boobs at like the age of 10. I was that person. And going through all of my career, even when I was teaching 20 hours a week cardio classes, I was never like some of the other instructors. And I now know genetically, because I've trained well and I've dieted and I've been through phases, I know that even when I diet and I am super on it and I am really adherent, my body still wants to hold on to fat longer than someone that could maybe go on a diet and lose fat quite rapidly and consistently. It doesn't mean that I don't drop fat, because I do. It just takes me a little bit longer. It doesn't mean that I'm less adherent. It just genetically, it just is a little bit more difficult for me. And that's where you've got to look at, going back to how I started this podcast, that's where you've got to look at what your goal is, what you're idolizing as your goal. I don't want to say, is it within your scope of genetics, because that's sort of given us a free pass to be like, oh well, not in my genetics, won't bother. But I mean, always just aiming. I think it's always important. That's why to never have like a specific weight goal, to never get a picture of someone else and be like, I want to look like this, you know? Always aiming for, I want to drop fat because I want to be fitter, healthier, and actually I want to drop a couple of dress sizes. Okay, brilliant. Yeah? Or I want to be more toned. Like having that as a goal rather than saying I want to have these shoulders that this girl's got, because that possibly might not be genetically possible for you, of getting that exact look. But you could always say I want to develop my shoulders. Cool, let's go through the principles that everyone would go through, and let's see what that looks like for you. And that's like in a nutshell what I wanted to get out of this episode, is that remembering that everybody's genetics are different. Be careful who you're idolizing, because they could be playing on the genetics, and unfortunately in the fitness industry a lot of people do that. I think I've maybe spoke about this before, but it just is what it is. People play to their advantages, right? I definitely don't. I'm trying. Oh, that's sad, isn't it? I'm trying to think what my advantages are. That's sad. Come on, real, not really giving a shit. I could say that as my advantage. Do I play to that? Yeah, probably. Yeah, put that on my Instagram, stick that on my podcast. But physically, people will play to their advantages, and like I said earlier on, maybe put on this is what I eat in a day, buy my nutrition program. This is how I squat, and look at my ass. But actually, they've got a great ass. I will be so honest with you guys. I actually recorded a 5-minute test video on this before, and like I said, realised I was looking down the whole time, so didn't record it, didn't post it. But I did actually mention a little story on there, which I'll tell you now, because we all love a story. I wasn't in the gym. I couldn't remember where I was when I said this or had this conversation with someone, but it might have been Bali, it might have been just round here somewhere, I don't know. But anyway, I didn't know this girl, and she looked like she trained. She did. She had a great physique. She had a great bum, like great bum. I was like, God, I bet she bet she does a split squats, like, yeah. And I was chatting to her. Can't even remember who it was now. I wish I could give her a shout out. But I was chatting to her and I said, do you train? Like, you've got a great bum. And she said, oh, do you know what? Not really. Dip in and out the gym. I was like, what? I have myself nearly crying every week over split squats, and my bum doesn't look half as good as yours, And she was just like, oh yeah, like that's my best feature. Genetics. That is a prime example of someone that we could be looking at thinking, oh, I want to look like that. Maybe if I go to the gym and I follow what they're eating, like, I look like that. When girlies, sometimes it is what it is. It's just life. And some people are genetically biased to have lower body fat. Some people genetically biased to have a more muscular physique. Some people are just bastards and can eat what they want and look phenomenal 100% of the time. I'm not one of them. I hear you. I relate to you. So it's fine. We'll be here in the healthy corner, getting strong, getting fit, getting strong, confident, doing all the right stuff so we can feel our best version of ourselves. And that is what I want to end on. Oh, this is a short podcast. I'll get better at the years. I think it's just because I've got a bit of stage fright with the camera. That's what I want to end on, is that please take away from this podcast, everyone's genetics are different. Everybody's results are going to look different, even if we did the whole same program, ate the whole same things. And I know you've probably heard this before, but sometimes we need to hear things over and over just to remind, because it's so easy to get swept up in this social media world, this comparison world, that we need to have this reminder of, yes, you're right. As always, everyone's genetics are different, and be careful who you're idolizing. Be careful who you're taking info from, be careful who you're taking inspiration from, and remember, aim to just be the best version of you. Have that loose goal. If it's a physique goal, if it's a weight loss goal, like, aim for, I want to drop fat because I want to drop the dress size. I want to, be fitter. I want to move better. I want to feel healthier. Have the physique goal of, I want to be more toned So I'm gonna weight train, I'm gonna stick it out, I'm gonna be consistent. Let's see what that goal looks like. But do not idolize your end goal off someone else. Never ends well. Never ends well. All right. Thank you for joining me, guys. If you are listening, hope that was okay and wasn't too different. I might, for the first time ever, listen back to this podcast and just see if it's the same. If you have watched, thank you. What I have taken from this podcast, I definitely need to jazz up this background. I look like I'm in a prison cell. Apart from this pic, this pic, if you are watching, is me and Ollie in Mexico. Love that pic. Lol. Okay, thank you for listening. I really hope it helped, and I hope you took a little bit of knowledge, inspiration, and just maybe a little bit of self-compassion from that. And as always, guys, if you did enjoy this episode, please let me know over on Instagram @_em.powered. And yeah, I'll speak to you next time. Love you, bye.